That image that you saw of Lindsey Graham, some people think, wow, that's really over the top. Hanging people in effigy, tarring them in effigy, tarring and feathering them in effigy. This goes all the way back to prior to the American Revolution, okay? So if you know your history, you know that this is right in line with what the founders of this republic and the freedom fighters who fought and won our liberty. That's the kind of stuff that they did regularly, okay? So you can, and you don't have to go that far. The people that were involved in this, myself included, in going after Lindsey Graham were because he had nominated and helped confirm, rather, Kagan and Sotomayor. He could have stopped it. He could have stopped it, and he didn't. That's one of the reasons that I was so anti-Lindsey Graham from the moment he announced that he was going to run for president. I thought, you have to be kidding me. You are one of the most treacherous, cowardly men who has ever been in the United States Senate. But I digress. Here's what I need you to do. Go to our website. Email me if you want more instruction. But I'm going to make a list right now of stuff that you can do. Before I do that, you get your pen and paper. I'm going to read to you 2 quotes from Justice Scalia on the Obergefell decision. This is the decision that struck down the laws of the states that said that marriage is between a man and a woman. Here's what Scalia said. Today's decree says that my ruler and the ruler of 320 million Americans, coast to coast, is a majority of the 9 lawyers on the Supreme Court. This practice of constitutional revision by an unelected committee of 9, always accompanied, as it is today, by extravagant praise of liberty, robs the people of the most important liberty they asserted in the Declaration of Independence and won in the Revolution of 1776, the freedom to govern themselves. Scalia also made a statement that would indicate that he thought that there might be a revolution to dethrone these people, that the founders might have actually fought against them. Remember, our founders fought a war. They killed people, okay, to have liberty. Here's what he said. I asked the question, would our founders have fought a war to dethrone these unelected dictators? Quote, to allow the policy question of same-sex marriage to be considered and resolved by a select, patrician, highly unrepresentative panel of 9 is to violate a principle even more fundamental than no taxation without representation. This, no social transformation without representation. You might remember that the phrase no taxation without representation was one of the battle cries of the Revolutionary War. We will not let you tax us, change our tax structure, unless we have representation in Parliament to argue on our behalf. The end. Okay? So they were fighting over a 1 cent tax on tea or a 1% tax on tea. Do you remember the Boston Tea Party? The taxes in question got so low, it was just a matter of principle that the English Parliament wanted to hold over the Americans that we can tax them without giving them seats in Parliament and they'll crack. The American people didn't crack, they snapped. And they went to war. And they fought. And they killed their fellow Britons in what was really a civil war. We call it a revolutionary war, but it was a civil war. It was a war of Englishmen against Englishmen. Okay? This is a big deal, people. They fought over a 1% tax on tea? Are you hearing me? And yet, we're seeing the Supreme Court unleash despicable, bloodshedding, unthinkable crimes against God and man. So, no taxation without representation. No social transformation without representation. These are the words that this great man put in the Obergefell decision. He has so many words like this in other key decisions. The Windsor decision, which led up to this. But Obama cannot be allowed to fill this seat. He cannot be allowed to fill this seat. That means we have to put the fear of God, or at least the fear of us, in the hearts of Republican senators and hold their feet to the fire. And that means public demonstrations, press conferences in front of their offices. Okay? So you got your pen and paper. Stay with me. I'm going to give you quick steps that you can do. And it's not hard. It just takes courage. If you'll just have enough courage to do it and do what I'm telling you, exactly as I tell it, don't leave out a single step, then you will get coverage. You'll be seen by thousands, maybe millions of people in your city, depending on how big it is. And you can help hold the feet to the fire of Republican senators. Don't go away. Do what I'm telling you and help us to help our country, God save us, from getting another Obama appointee to the Supreme Court.